This is Amy Sermon with Max Knowledge, and I'm speaking with Dr. Jean Norris, Managing Partner of Norton Norris. Jean, thanks so much for joining me. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Amy?
Doing well. Well, we're going to be talking about admissions today, and specifically ethics in admissions. And Jean, I know that's a really strong area of background and expertise for you. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I actually have been in the industry for about 25 years. Started as a high school rep, and even prior to that, I actually graduated from a 10-month medical assisting diploma program. So my heart has always been with the career school industry. And from that first job in admissions, high school rep, I've progressed and probably had every job you can imagine, from telemarketing, admissions counselor, to associate dean. Actually worked on the faculty side for a few years as a dean and a faculty member, and then decided my heart was really in admissions and marketing. So working for-profit and not-for-profit colleges all across the country, I've just had a wonderful, wonderful experience, working with people who are working in admissions, working on the faculty side to change students' lives.
Well, great. And you're a wonderful person to be talking to about this topic. Let's start out with first the negative press that we've seen in our sector of late, particularly related to admissions. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it makes me crazy. As an admissions rep from, like the late 80s, when we were paid commission back in those days, people weren't necessarily doing unethical things, but there were some that were, which affected everybody. So from that point, it always bothered me that the career school sector was held to a different standard than everybody else. I worked in not-for-profits, and we had, people were getting cars and trips and all kinds of things in the not-for-profit world too. So, those standards never seemed to make sense to me. And in fact, when I did my own dissertation, my own research, I decided to study the moral reasoning of admissions reps across the country between for-profit and not-for-profit, trying to discover which group was more ethical. What I ended up finding, it was interesting, is that admissions people across whatever sector were more moral. In fact, moral reasoning, they scored higher than the average adult population.
That's very interesting.
It was great fun too, and as a whole, here's a group of people who care about students. Period. I don't care what side of the fence they're on; they care about students. But what we're seeing is that in the career school sector, there's these perceptions that continue to plague the career school industry.
Well, some of the techniques that you see used in admissions, what's your take on that?
Yeah, and I think that's part of what the perception is there are schools out there who continue to do things that hurt all of us. And some examples of admissions techniques, and again, we do mystery shopping all across the country, and we see from the student's perspective what's going on. And some of these reps are doing things like turn the volume up on the pain. If we could make that student feel really, really awful and really bad, then they'll know that school is the solution for them. We see things like, well, let me see if I can recommend you to come to school here. Last I checked, the reality is, your DOA wants everybody to come to school. So there's a couple of those techniques that continue. There are admissions reps who push really, really, really hard and oversell, trying to get that student in school. And today's student is different. They know when they're being sold. They don't trust as much as prior generations. So the equation isn't working anymore. So as admissions reps push harder, our students are walking away.
You've actually called for a change in the sector. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. I get so tired of the negative press, and, in the absence of speaking for ourselves, in the absence of saying, hey, this is who we really are, we're going to allow other sectors to speak for us. So I think we need to have a stronger voice, and we need to police within our industry. And what I mean by that is there are those bad apples out there. And the perception is we're all like that. And we're not. There are so many wonderful, wonderful career colleges out there that are changing people's lives. I'm one of them. They change people's lives. They change families. They change generations. And those people should not be held or suffer from those people who are doing the wrong things. So we need to police within the sector. The second thing is that we need to help the people who are on the front line with more tools. And what I mean by that is I don't believe admissions reps or recruiters are purposely trying to mislead people or manipulate people. I just don't think that we've trained them to do anything differently. In fact, a lot of the techniques used in admissions are things I was taught on 20-something years ago. They don't work anymore. So we have to help our reps by giving them more training to connect to today's student in a way that helps them connect at a much deeper level.
Jean, it's so obvious you're very passionate about this subject, and our interviews are brief. I know there's so much more to be said. I really appreciate you joining us and talking with us and telling us a few insights, and we hope that you can join us again very soon.
I appreciate it, Amy. Thank you.
Thank you.